According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. exports supported more than 11 million jobs in 2013. What's the current status of our trade relationships abroad, and how could it impact the future growth of our country? For the next few minutes, we'll discuss. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Joining me is Congressman Aaron Schock, Republican from Illinois. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for having me on.
You know, we realize that the world really is kind of flat in many ways as it relates to our relationships overseas, particularly with China, with India, with Mexico. A lot of folks in this country feel, I guess, a little frustrated that when they see made in China and so forth, but that's really how the world works today. Congressman, walk us through our U.S. trade relationships around the world.
Well, first, let's dispel a few myths. People naturally think of trade agreements as somehow a net negative to America, that we're losing jobs to overseas companies are leaving our country. The fact of the matter is, with every major market that we have a trade agreement with, we have a trade surplus with, particularly when you take out energy. The only thing we're really importing in large numbers at a deficit is energy. So oil, natural gas no longer because of the Bakken shale. But you take out energy, we win. We kick everybody's tail, even with, well, we don't have a free trade agreement with China.
I see.
So if we can enter into free trade agreements with the largest markets in the world and level the playing field, Americans, manufacturers, our farmers and growers, and our service sector can compete, and we win.
So are you saying it's a misnomer that U.S. jobs are going overseas?
It is. The fact of the matter is, we just passed the Panama, Colombia, and South Korean agreements 2 years ago. We had the anniversary of those agreements just in May of this year. The administration's own numbers show that over 200,000 American jobs have been created as a result of those three trade agreements. So as anemic as the recovery has been, as slow as our economic growth has been, it would be far worse had we not entered into those leveling of the playing field trade agreements that have allowed businesses and manufacturers here to grow. The other thing that's important for people to realize is we only have 5% of the world's population. So to not trade, to believe that a defeatist mentality where we wall up the country and only produce and sell to our own people really shrinks the world. If you believe in America's greatness, you believe in our ability to compete around the world, you want to be able to sell to the other 95% of the world's population. And right now that means Asia, that means also Latin America. But you know, as you mentioned, I was over in China. China is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. India, who just elected a big pro-business, free trade guy, Narendra Modi, represents 1/6 of humanity in his largest democracy on earth. So those are countries we don't have trade agreements with, that to the degree we can level the playing field, get rid of trade barriers, our people will prosper.
And I want to go back to China for a few moments in terms of the illevel playing field, if you will.
Yeah.
There are a lot of folks out there, that Congressman, that would say that China does illegal steel dumping. They subsidize a lot of their products, so therefore, in many ways, U.S. manufacturers feel like they're going into a knife fight with one hand tied behind their back. What is the solution as relates to coming up with a fair trade agreement, specifically with China?
Well, we have taken up issues with them through the WTO, the World Trade Organization. You know, the best thing we could do is have a trade agreement with them.
Of course.
If we can get them to play by the rules. I was there in April with a number of my colleagues, both Republicans and Democrats, and we took those very concerns to their premier, Premier Li. We met with him, the leader in China, and we talked about the fact that not only do our manufacturers need to be able to compete on a level playing field, we obviously don't support state-owned enterprises where their government actually owns the industries, but also the IP, intellectual property. Companies like Apple have invested there, and their products have been stolen. That's a problem.
Very complicated problems, not a simple solution. Congressman Aaron Schock, thank you very much.
Thanks,
for joining
Robert.
us.
Good to be with you.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.